you hear me now? Is this working? Well, we got a new viewer. Hello, Jim939. I hope you can hear me because apparently it wasn't working before. But basically, what my aim for this stream is to uh, finish, or at least get this front facade finished, so it's all detailed and everything, including Bruno's tower and there's like another little building over here, and obviously I've done some stuff before. Hopefully we can get some of the interior done, but I'm not sure how realistic all of that is. Okay, excellent. This is working. Look, okay, Encanto. I mean, okay, so I think I was muted for a little bit before, so I'll just go over what I said before. It was a pretty successful film, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes and 7.3 on IMDb, but you know, how reliable are those metrics? I mean, I don't know. And obviously this was the film's reception was definitely impacted by COVID and everything. So I think you know, you have to give it a little bit of credit for that, I guess. So I think it's a very interesting film because it deals with it's definitely unique among Disney films, and I think I'll talk about that a bit more later. But it's definitely one of the more unique Disney films. So I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to start with this bit and get these archways done. I think if I look on the... I've got like the wiki page up here. Although it's kind of hard to see the orientation of everything. Let's have a look here. Let's see. So the colors are very interesting, which I think is why I think it transfers to Minecraft quite well. I'm gonna need more detail, obviously, because there's like a whole like flower thingy over here, and I think there's like trees and everything. And I think part of the film is like the color and everything. Really, that is definitely one of the main. I guess attraction. That's one of the main attractions of the film. The production design is definitely very good quality. Just looking at some of the pictures here. I'm trying to work. Okay. So there's a big archway here. So this is a bit bigger, and this. I'm probably gonna need some slabs or something. This is my first stream, so this is quite nerve-wracking, but hopefully it will go well. Okay, it's good. We've got some people in chat. That's good. Let's see here. That is actually not symmetrical. Okay. Oh, someone started chainsawing. How good. I think that's a pretty good. Oh well, maybe it's there's a bit more. I guess I could do this here. Okay, this looks good. I guess there's one of the things that I think differs a lot from other Disney films is the sheer amount of characters. Like you know, that's part of the film. They have to have a lot of characters because you know it's the whole extended family. That's like one of the main themes of the film. But keeping track of all those characters, and I think I read that one of the reasons Disney was pretty skeptical about having so many characters, because you know, your classic Disney film, you have like your hero and like your sidekick character, maybe their animal friend, whereas like in this one it was and your villain, obviously. Whereas this one is very different in that respect. It has a lot of characters and definitely a lot of. I'm not sure how. I mean, it might be a little hard to follow, I suppose. I know certainly at the start I was very confused about all the different characters' relations. And the songs, I mean, I mean, the songs, the song at the start where they try to introduce everyone, I'm not sure how effective that actually is at introducing everyone, because it just seems, um, it's pretty hard to keep track of, and they speak, like, very fast, so I don't think it helps that much. And I think the visuals definitely carry that whole exposition at the start there. Maybe we could let's think what else can we talk about? The gifts. That is an interesting part of the story. I wonder maybe that does that work better? Yeah, the gifts. There's there. I don't know how useful some of the gifts are because, I mean, like what are their gifts? Should we go through all the gifts of the family? Let me look up the entire family because I don't think I can remember off the top of my head. Okay, so well, let's look at all the characters here. So we got Louisa, who's the strong one. Isabella, who's the like the grows flowers, grows plants one. Which, I mean, is that very useful to the people of the town? I mean, the whole thing about helping the people around, it's meant to be, they're helping the people of the town. But I don't know how useful exactly that is, but I guess it beautifies the place up a bit. What are the other characters? Healing, that's a useful one. That's is it Pepper? Oh no, it's Julieta, I think. Mirabelle's mother, I think. Yeah, healing. I mean, that is a useful one. But then the next one over, like shape shifting. I mean, I think in the film they showed it was some sort of scene where they showed like a mother and a baby, and what's his name? Is it Camilo? I think turned into I accidentally opened email. Oops. Um, turned into the mother so the mother could catch a break and the baby thought it was the mother. Which, I mean, but I don't know what other use apart from that. Like, what other use is that? Seems a little weird. I think this is the right flooring. I don't know if it's the colors aren't quite right. I've gone for definitely like the sort of block colors instead of texture because I think that suits the cartoon look more. I wonder if I should have done this bit yellow. I don't know. Well, anyway. Yeah, the gifts. What are the other characters? The weather. I mean, I guess that's useful, especially for an agricultural based economy. Um, I guess that's pretty useful. And hearing. I mean, it serves in the plot. I think it serves quite well because she hears Bruno in the walls, Dolores. But I don't know how useful that would be generally, except it'd be really annoying. um, yeah, I guess it could be useful. I'm gonna lower this a bit more. I'm trying to get like a real archway. Archways in Minecraft are difficult, but this is going okay. Is there one more? I think there's one more. Yeah, the little boy Antonio with the animals again. I mean, it's a cool gift, but I don't know how he's meant to serve the people of the town. Should we get on to... Oh, we got more first-time people in the chat. Excellent, excellent. Okay. Very good, very good. It is so well animated, pinkish. I agree. And yes, and it didn't have a villain. Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, I guess you could call Abuela the villain, but it's not really the villain. It's like the antagonist at best. But like, yeah, I like that about it. It's very unique in that way. And it's all about reconciliation at the end, which I think is much more of a family film. Like, I think that suits it better. I think that suits the whole thing better. Okay, so there's like pink archways on the right there. And okay, so this wall just levels off like this. I guess we should get into the main character, Mirabelle. I think she's pretty good. I think she's pretty unique compared to your other Disney characters. Like, she's a bit more... I mean, yeah, there's definitely elements of just your regular Disney protagonist, but I think she's a little more unique. And how isolated she is, I guess. Oh, I guess that's not very... I still think there's something a little different about her. In how she reacts to different situations, and she's very positive. I guess that she has to be. That's, you know, she's in that situation. I wonder, this feels too deep, but I wonder if I could. I don't know about that. Because I think there's a little. There's a little. I don't know how I can do that. There's a little flower pot over here. Guess we could have a little enclave here. I think one of the one of the best elements or scenes in the movie is that scene with the photographer, and they capture the photograph and she's standing outside. I think that's really well done. I think it demonstrates immediately how isolated she is, and like the emotion at that point of the movie, like they did very well. So you empathize with Mirabelle throughout the opening number, and then that lead into the next song. What is it called? I can't remember what it's called. Let me quickly look it up. Yeah, Waiting on a Miracle. I think that really it sets that next song up very well, and there's a lot of emotion conveyed there, more than like some Disney films at the end. So I think they did very well there, and it might surprisingly, it might just be the most emotional part of the movie, possibly. It definitely contends to the end, but yeah, it's a very emotional part of the movie. Okay, let's have a look here. There's no picture. You're kidding. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Okay, well, we've got picture now. We got picture. Well, I am new to this, so this, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Well, you can see what I'm building now. I've built this archway and a flower pot area, I think is what it is. I hope that, yeah, that works. Okay. This is okay. What else? Let's see. I think we can use like a wall here, and that will create a nice little indent that doesn't, and a flower pot maybe. I don't think I'm gonna get this done. It's already been 20 minutes. Well, we'll see how we go. I mean, this is good. Hopefully you've been hearing what I've said, but I think you have. But yeah, yeah. Jim939 wants a shout out. Sure. There you go. It's a good shout out. What's the next song in the movie? Alright, Surface Pressure. That's Luis's song. I think it's one of my favorite songs in the movie, but I don't know, maybe that's a little controversial. I don't know. It's definitely one of my favorite ones. And how, like, they convey what she's feeling and the amount of pressure she's under by her family. I think it's done really well. Better than Isabella's song, I think. And it's not really, it's definitely doesn't end like Isabella's had done with Triumph. Well, actually, Isabella's goes through Triumph, and then at the end there's one of it. But we'll get to that later. Luis's is a little more, and I think it does well as the third song in the movie, setting that part, the main story up, because up till then you don't really know what it's about. I don't think one of the pacing of Encanto is a little weird, I think, in that you have this big emotional number in the second part, um, but then you don't really know where the story's going after that. Uh, which no is we don't talk about Bruno fourth, I think. Yeah, I think that's right. Um, but yeah, I like the imagery and the song is good, but once again the actual film I think carries the emotion of that scene. What with all like the Cerberus stuff and like the rocks and hanging off the cliff, I think that's really well done. Let's have a look here. There's pink archways. Okay. And more sandstone. Oh, there's a bit of... Okay, we can do something there. I think we might be able to use pink glazed terracotta. That might work. The design of the film is... I love the design. It's really good. All the colors, I think, also distinguishes it from other Disney movies. And the amount of detail in the animation is just really good. I wonder... Let's have a look here. If that goes up like this, we could make this slabs, I think. Yeah, we'll just remove this entire floor. And just so we can get that nicer incline up to here. If that's right. Yeah, that'll work, I think. Yeah, so I really like Surface Pressure. It's a good song of conveying and making you empathize with Louisa more, and it definitely sets up that whole family pressure very early on, which I think, well, I guess Waiting for a Miracle does, but you start to realize that it's across the whole family and not just Mirabelle, even though the others have gifts. Like that, there's a whole load of whole load of stuff to unpack. Let's have a look. Do you only watch the second half, Harville? Wow, that's... I mean, yeah, I can see that. How do you donate? Well, I didn't think anyone would want to. Uh, not on this stream. I think that would be too complicated for me to set up right now. But I guess if I do another stream in the future, which I think I will if this one goes well. I think that would be good. We've yet to see how well it goes, if I lose my voice or not. But yeah, so I'll see what we'll remove that later. Let's see. Pink archways on the right. I don't know how we're gonna do. I guess we could do crimson. That's kind of pinkish, unless there's something else. But I don't think there's any other detailed stair that we could use. I guess we could use brick or granite, but I don't think that's quite colourful enough. Yeah, so we'll just use crimson. What's the next song? Is it We Don't Talk About Bruno, I think? I think that's the order. I'll have to double check that. But I think that makes sense. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. This is the most popular song of the movie. It got a number one something, some stuff. It became really popular, and I think that's an indicator that people, because it didn't do very well at the box office, but I think that's the amount of popularity in the music and also on social media. I think definitely is an indicator that it did actually do well. I think I'm gonna put the slabs up here and give them some sort of stairway up there. An indicator that it actually did well, because obviously more people are likely to watch on Disney Plus because of COVID and stuff, and also because it's on Disney Plus so soon afterwards, people will say, "I'll just watch it on Disney Plus," which, to be fair, is what I did. But yeah. Let's see, more slabs here. This is taking longer than I thought, but I guess talking and building is a little longer. So yeah, green, pink. It's actually really hard to get pictures of the interior because of copyright and things, which is kind of annoying. But I'm making do with the Encanto wiki. Anyway, where are we? We don't talk about Bruno. I don't know. Is it my favorite song? I don't think it is my favorite song, but I definitely see the appeal. It's definitely, obviously the music was composed by Manuel Miranda. It's definitely similar to Non-Stop with all the overlaying voices and things that creates this really weird and chaotic atmosphere, which I think is very good. And it definitely sets up the expectation that Bruno is like evil, and then subverts your expectations when he's. But to be fair, I think that was a little bit of a. It was quite a simple twist. I think I saw it coming. I think it was quite obvious. Is that the wrong way? How should we do this floor? I guess we could just. I glazed terracotta is so annoying because you don't know which direction it's going in. Oh, maybe it's like this. Yeah, it's like this. Okay. And this goes in quite far, I think, into the wall, which will be here, I think. So. Yeah, getting the measurements, because I wanted to build the first part of this first so I could get the measurements and everything, because they're quite hard to get and it wouldn't make for great streaming, but this bit's gonna be kind of tricky. Okay, Isabella's song. Now that's I also like it. I'm listening to the first time. Listening to the first time, I didn't like it that much, but I think just listening to the soundtrack on repeat made me like it more. But I think it is quite a good song, and again, the visuals carry the song in the film. The songs are good, but I think the visuals help enormously in conveying the story. And it definitely differs from your classic like sing and walk, which I think is really boring, and I think they did a really good job with the visuals and telling the story and getting into the characters' minds. I think that was really well done. Let's see here. I think there's a lot of greenery and small details and pictures and everything, which I think I'll have to do later, because I just need to get this outline of the courtyard done. Which again, really hard to get these photos or screenshots even, which is a really annoying thing on Disney Plus because you can't take screenshots. Oh, the kitchen. Okay, I think I can do the kitchen from this one. So it goes in, and there's a pink beam. I think I'll have to take a bit of creative license on this because I'll just do a bit of guesswork, I guess. I mean, these are basically, there's probably archways in these, but I'm just going to do a wall around that side. I got, yeah, about Isabel, I got like there was a quote from Wikipedia, because I was just looking through the Wikipedia before the stream to see if there was any additional information that would be interesting. And there was a quote about the true imperfect self, which was really... Oh, Minecraft has... Okay, we're back. Revealing the imperfect self, which is interesting, because normally you'd think perfection is like a good thing, but this film is all about saying, you know, striving for complete perfection is a bad thing. Embracing your true and perfect self is the good thing, and I think that is just one of the messages of the movie that is really powerful. I think this movie does well in carrying multiple messages across. Ba, 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 ba. Let's see. Yeah, this is pretty tricky. It's a pretty tricky build because it's so detailed and it's hard to separate the structure and the details. I think this goes all the way across. So we'll just expand this. Yes, okay, so there's a couple of reviews I found online. This first one is I found on the Wikipedia page, and I just took the reviews from there. But this one's from Christian Holub of Entertainment Weekly. Gave the film a B grade and said, a smiling tale about familial reconciliation and learning to see your relatives for who they are, rather than who you wish they were, is never unwelcome. So, again, I think that sums up what's going on there, and is what I was looking into this thing called intergenerational trauma, which means different things in different contexts. For example, sometimes it means, for example, an atrocity committed on a certain ethnic group or a group of people. For example, the Jews in the Holocaust can be the trauma carries through across generations. The collective trauma is experienced, which is really interesting. But that's not what's going on here, obviously. This is about the intergenerational trauma of. I guess it could be, actually, to be honest though, you could argue that because the whole war thing at the start of how they get their gifts is based on I think it's called the Thousand Days War, because obviously Encanto is set in Colombia, and it's not explicitly mentioned, but it's based on the Thousand Days War, and I guess that could be a form of intergenerational trauma. And Abuela's so affected by this that she projects it onto everybody else, which is again a really interesting context of the film, and I do think this film has a lot of depth to its themes, and it's just everything it goes to. It has a lot of depth, and I think that's one of the main one of the greatest greatest things about the film. I think that's a good thing. We need to get those pink archways done. Let's have a look. Okay. So we'll just break this away, and we'll have to measure these out a bit with my crimson. I guess we could do strip crimson log, I think, or maybe, depending on what they look like. No, I think this one's best. Should we go 3? Just that? Ugh. Well, that's really annoying. Where's the middle? I think the middle might be an even number. In which case we might have to do this. Yeah, I think that works. I think that's even. Yeah, that's good. I don't think it's quite accurate, but it'll do. Or we could do this and this. No, no, I don't think that'll work. I think this is better. So yeah, that intergenerational trauma, I think, leads us right onto the character of Abuela. I think, as I said before, she's the best thing you can say is an antagonist. And actually, to be honest, she's pretty mean. To Mirabel, like near the end. I mean, I get that she's trying to protect her home, but I mean, and her family, but I mean that it's a bit overkill how mean she is to Mirabelle. Near the end after Isabel's number, I think that's, yeah, it's a bit crazy. I also I don't know how well the redemption of her character was handled. I'm not. I don't think it was as good as it could have been. It was pretty much Mirabelle runs away is the catalyst for Abuela's redemption, which I don't think is quite enough. And yeah, a little more could have been done to explain Abuela's change of mind. I think. I don't know what that could have been. Um, but yeah. Okay, archways. This bit's gonna be a little tricky. Let's see. I guess this'll do. It's not perfect, but I think it's the best we can do in Minecraft. It's pretty good. Okay. Do I have anything else to say about Abuela? I guess like that argument, that conflict between Mirabelle and Abuela after that Isabel's song. I mean that is one of the most powerful scenes in the movie. I think I'm gonna break this down here. Powerful scenes in the movie. Just because at that point Mirabelle has always given into Abuela and the family as a whole, actually, and how much like they've kind of mistreated her. If I'm gonna be honest, like they did mistreat her quite a bit. They, the family should support each other, I don't think, and they did a good job of making Mirabelle feel good. Another first-time viewer, Thunderbolt 516, excellent. Your Pinkish's mum is making apple cake right now. That is one of my favorite foods, I have to say. As a pudding, I think meringue is good. Apple cake is good. Apple pie, apple crumble, apples in general, apple juice. I mean, apples in general are they're pretty good. They're pretty top tier. I've done the pink archways now. This is going to be a little bit tricky. I think there's blue archways kind of on the other side. Again, it's hard to tell. I think there's a 2-block gap in the scale. Put that there. No, that's the wrong side. Put that over here. I think this will do well. Maybe even a 3-block gap. I think that suits the proportions better. Yeah, and then maybe a little archway like that. Might be pretty good. And another thing about the structure of the film and that whole end part about the Abuela being redeemed that is related to it is Mirabelle is kind of, it's almost like she's blamed, like she runs away when the house goes down, and it's not her fault, but she runs away, and it's not, and it seems like she's the one being shunned, and obviously you feel sorry for her, but you're kind of like, wait, why? It makes sense, but like in the film, it shouldn't be, it doesn't inject the right amount of emotion, because your emotions are a bit confused about how you should feel about Mirabelle running away, even though it wasn't her fault. So I think that's a bit dodgy around there. I guess going back to what I said earlier about Abuela and losing Mirabelle and the motivation for redemption. I mean, I guess losing your granddaughter might suddenly realize how much of a douche you've been. Like I can see how much like that would not redeem you, but change your mind and make you realize what you're doing wrong. But again, I just think it's a little convoluted about that, and it's not fully explained or developed, I don't think, enough. I like this bit. This is good. Although, right? No, I think that's good. That's good. So we go in here. The kitchen, right? That's the next bit, which I think we should do. There is a little bit of stuff from the art book on the wiki page, but again, I mean, it's not all completely clear. Okay, so there's I think I understand. So from here, there's steps down a little bit. Maybe we'll do 2, perhaps. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay. Let's talk about Bruno. Let's talk about Bruno. I think he might be one of the best characters of the film, in my opinion. I think he's a very good plot device in how he subverts expectations. Eton mess, yes, I agree. Apple supremacy. Yes, yeah. The parallel with Bruno running away, yeah. I mean, that's yes. I see that, but that's an interesting part, an interesting parallel. But I don't think it's fully. I don't know. It's not fully, completely developed enough, in my opinion. I have to leave that like that. It's a bit annoying. Or we could carry that up. That'll work. Okay. Yeah, so Bruno, really good, and the whole prophecy thing I think is pretty good. Bruno is he's a really lovable character, and he doesn't he has no bad intentions, you know, and in that way he's a bit like in Greek mythology, there's in the Iliad the story of Troy. If you've heard of the Horse of Troy and everything, and the fall of Troy, the great city. There's this character called Cassandra who tells prophecies but is cursed never to be listened to. This situation's a little bit different, but in the way that Bruno is shunned for his prophecies and pushed out, I think it's a bit like that. Which is really interesting. I don't think that's a coincidence, because the whole prophecy thing definitely has its roots in that whole, ancient Greek thing. Let's see. Got plants, and then the little. I think this needs to go. Okay, this is good. This is good. This is very good. We're running out a little bit of space here. I don't know if that's gonna work. Yeah, this is tricky getting the proportions. I wonder if we can get a side view of the house. Because I think there's when they're all eating dinner outside, not when they're eating inside. But there's a photo which we might be able to get. Might be a little clearer. I can't think I can find it. We'll just have to take a bit of license. There's a theory about Bruno about how he's the father of Alberto in Pixar, and Luca. Pixar's it's their latest film, I think. And I kind of see it, because in Luca, the whole phrase is Silenzio Bruno, and there's this whole thing about it. And yeah, I do think Bruno, like Bruno, is Alberto's father. I think it makes a lot of sense. But I do not think it is this Bruno. I do not. Pixar, in my opinion, although it's owned by Disney, it's a different studio, and I think that automatically discounts that theory, no matter how fun it is. I think is this the same level? Okay, we'll have to do that then. Let's quickly check. Yeah, I think that theory is a little bit doesn't have too much merit. There's like an outdoor eating area. I guess we'll have to extend that whole bit out. Oh yeah, that goes out quite a bit. Okay, let's modify that. I guess we can... whatever. Nah, we'll just keep it this way. I guess Bruno relates a lot. There's a lot to do with his sisters. Not so much Julieta, who's Mirabel's mother, but definitely more Peppa, which is the other sister, who's, you know, that whole we don't talk about Bruno, you know, that starts with her and her wedding day. It was her wedding day, and there wasn't a cloud in the sky and all that, you know. And I think she's definitely, she misses Bruno. She's kind of angry at Bruno, but through that loss, she's angry and doesn't want to talk about it and is shutting it all inside. And again, it's another thing that's integrated into the movie of that intergenerationalness. I am not using Shop Deck. I am using the Encanto Disney.fandom.com wiki Casa Madrigal page, which has some images, various images of the house. Shop Deck is really annoying because you can't, it's on a subscription now. Okay, let's have a look here. Should do the well done. Okay. What else can we talk about? The doorknob at the end, like that ending scene is, I think it's really good. That last song is really good. I don't think it's the best song, but it's a pretty good song in provoking the emotion and the climax of the ending. This kitchen is really difficult. Where's the kitchen picture? Okay, so there's a table over there, and oh, I see. Okay, this will be fine. We'll just, so there's a little bit of an outcrop here, which we can, that's the same thing. So if we do this, and then carry this across, I think this will work. Yeah, the ending is really good, and the doorknob, I think that's really symbolic of like the house and the family, and all the doors. Those doors are really, really interesting. How the doors are created and everything. We'll do this here, and then there's a little outcrop here which will go out like that, and that should work. So there's a table over here. I don't know if we'll have the right wood exactly. I guess we'll just do birch might be better. Again, the design of this film is just incredible. I think it's really good. Actually, I might do oak because birch might blend in too much with the sandstone. Yeah, I think the design definitely has a great thing. One of the things that ties the film back to the start is that second photograph. This time Mirabel's in it, and you know, it's that whole circular thing. But there's another review here. Jake Wilson of The Age gave the film 2 out of 5 stars and criticized Smith and the team, who I think is the co-director and one of the key, might be screenwriter, I'm not sure, but you know, one of the key leads on the films, criticized Smith and her team, saying that Encanto isn't a realistic story of family dysfunction, but a fairy tale. I don't think that is. I mean, I can see where Jake is coming from, but I think he's wrong. I think I'm gonna have to lower this floor. I think he's wrong because although it is, you know, it's magical and fairy tale. It's simply the metaphor, um, and it's more of an obvious metaphor than a normal metaphor. But it's meant to be. It has at the end of the day, this is a kids movie, and to convey that message to children, you have to do it in a fun way. That's not to say, well, you can't really make a fully serious film about intergenerational trauma if you want kids to watch it. And you know, I don't think that's uh, pessimistic or something like that to say. I think it's just the reality, and if you want to convey a strong message, you have to do so in a fun way for kids, and you can still create that fun message or strong message about intergenerational trauma without losing the other parts of the film. I guess we should get into the background of the film. It was, I believe, production started in 2016, right after Moana, because obviously Lin-Manuel Miranda was. I might just turn this light on. That might be better. Yeah, that might be better. Are we still streaming? I think we're connected. Wi-Fi might be a bit dodgy. But anyway, yeah, the background of the film. Lin-Manuel Miranda finished up Moana because he did a few songs, and not all of them, but he was a big collaborator on a lot of the songs. What should we do? I think this might go out just one more block. And he was a big part, the bigger part of this movie than he was part of Moana. I think Moana was more of a tester for Disney to see how well he worked with Disney movies, and this was his full break into Disney. And you know, he's responsible for all the songs, I think, and I think they're very good. To be honest, though, I don't think they're good songs as in Moana, but I think they're still good, but I don't think they're as good as the ones in Moana quite. But yeah, they're still really good songs. And I think the story in Encanto is better than Moana, but the songs are better than Moana. So there's a bit of. I think, do I prefer Encanto or Moana? I think I prefer Encanto because it has a more complex story. But again, the songs in Moana are really good. And I don't think they quite match the songs in this film. I think we'll make this too wide so we can have seating. Do this. And this. So for their research, well, I guess the whole background of this film is that the screenwriters, who are, I think, the ones that did Zootopia, which, I mean, maybe it's just because I've watched that film so many times, but I think I don't particularly like that film, because it was just always shown all the time, and I don't know, I didn't really like it in the end. But the same screenwriters who worked on Zootopia worked on Encanto alongside Lin-Manuel Miranda, and they wanted to make a film based on large extended families, which I think, and the pressures that are created through the generations, again relating back to the whole intergenerational trauma thing. Let's see. We've got our seating here. I think this is better because it's scaffolding, so you can actually sit down. Okay, I'm pretty proud of this. It definitely needs a lot more detail. Yeah, okay, so there's a shelving unit over there. I have to cut this off a little here. I think we'll do it in dark oak. Probably do this, and maybe do some button of some kind to get the drawers in. Oh no, it's more acacia coloured. Yeah, we'll do it in acacia. Let's see. Yeah, so and that whole intergenerational trauma and the extended family, I think, is definitely, you know, inspired by that whole. There's a lot of like Latino, like a Latino family. I think that's part of the whole inspiration and everything, and I'm sure that's the point of relation and everything like that. And they went to Colombia as part of their research trip. Their first research trip was to Colombia, but I think the second one, because of COVID, had to be cut short, which is a bit of a shame because you know, the more research in the country done, I think, is the better the film. And I think they got someone to show them around on Zoom or something, which I don't think is quite the same, but you know, we'll do some sort of. It's quite colourful there. I think we might do some sort of glazed terracotta, maybe. I don't know how that will work. I guess we do this one because I think this adds to the colour, which is a big part of the film. And we'll do a little. This won't be quite accurate, but it'll do. And I think it goes out in yellow here. Or does it? We could do it in white terracotta, maybe. And actually Disney formed, I don't know, they formed what they called within Disney the Colombian Cultural Trust, which I'm glad, you know, they took a lot of inspiration. They tried to make that as great as possible, the inspiration. And I think there were, and through that they found, I think on their trips to Colombia, there were two particular villages that inspired them a lot. One for the landscape, which is incredible. Colombia's landscape is just so green, and just it's crazy how green it is. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do white terracotta for this part, and the trees and everything, you know, really added to the aesthetic of the film. And then there was the other village, which was based more on the architecture, and that was all based around because of how colourful the architecture is as well. And I guess that was the inspiration for La Casita and the other buildings in the village, which I think were well pulled off by the animation team. I think I'm gonna do crimson fence up here. This could work quite well. Acacia crimson. I think that's pretty good. This is starting to come together. Again, I think I'm gonna stop adding more rooms. I think I'm gonna stop at this point, maybe cut this bit off here, and then I'm just gonna focus solely on the detail. Just so we can get a more realistic picture of what's going on here. Let's see, another review. John Louis of the Straits Times. Or am I saying that? John Louis? Something like that. John Louis of the Straits Times gave the film 3 out of 5 stars, saying that the effort put into the movie makes plainness interesting, and that it almost succeeds. He also stated that the songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda, as well as the visual designs, helped bring the movie to life. So, there's a lot he said there. So plainness interesting, which is a little I mean, I don't think that's true. I think there's a certain element of the visual design carrying the film, and the songs adding. I don't think they carried it quite, but they certainly added a lot to the film. But I do not think there was any plainness in the story that was made interesting. I think the story was very, very good. I do not think the visual design carried the film in that respect. The other thing he said, it almost succeeds. I mean, I think it does succeed. I don't think it's a perfect movie by any rate, but I think it does what it was meant to do, I guess. And the songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda, he says again, yeah, the songs and the visual design, they do bring it to life. I think it helps a lot, and makes the movie very good. Like the ambience created by the colors and the design, and the sheer amount of detail put in by the animators. I think it's very good in how it does that. Let's have a look here. So there's an outside patio area and some doors going out. Oh, I've done the wrong bit a little bit. No, actually, this will be okay. This will be okay. We'll just maybe, I don't know how big this part is. We'll bring this up maybe out here and then across, and then I think this will do here, and we'll start adding details into the house and everything. Okay. Okay, so what else can I say? Oh yeah, the context of the film, as I mentioned earlier, about the 1,000 Days War, which was this civil war in Colombia. I think it's the bloodiest in Colombia's history. A lot of people died. How many people died in the 1,000-day war? Yeah, crazy. 100,000 to 150,000 fatalities, which was about 2.5% of the nation's population at the time, which is pretty crazy. I don't know exactly what it was all about. I had a quick scan over the Wikipedia page earlier, but it looked devastating, complicated, and it seemed like very interesting. I also did not know that Panama was a province of Colombia before then, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, Colombia is definitely infamous for the amount of violence. I think it's called La Violencia, which is all the amount of violence. I was recently reading a book on violence, no, not violence, politics in Latin America, which is very interesting. I think it's called La Revolucion. I don't know the author's name. I think it was Eric something. Eric Hobsbawm about Latin America is very good. Although I don't know if anyone would find it interesting if you weren't interested in Latin America, but it's basically a series of, I guess, essays, not really essays, like entries about the political situation in Latin America written at the time. So it starts in like the 1960s, I think, and then carries on. Okay, this is good. I am liking this a lot. I think we will start doing the outside detail though. I do wish though that Disney had gone a little more in depth about that war. I understand, you know, it's a Disney movie, it's a kids movie, and you know, but I do wish they'd just gone a little more in depth about what it was, because it was very confusing. It was just, you know, horsemen kill I think he's called Pedro, who's the abuelo of the family. And it's not really explained, which is kind of a shame. Because I guess I'm a bit of a history nut, but it's very interesting. I wish they'd explained that a little more. The film's reception. I the film's reception. I think I talked about this at the start, but I think it was pretty good. But COVID again hit it massively. The whole closure of cinemas and everything, I think, definitely impacted it a lot. Although, and the whole COVID thing and everything like that, and, impacted the film's revenue a lot. But I think Disney will see this as a success because I don't think the amount of you can't really measure a film's success without taking into account Disney Plus and the revenue from Disney Plus, and I'm sure Disney Plus did very well out of Encanto. I know that I got Disney Plus for Encanto for a month. Let's see. I'm looking at the outside of the house now. There's so much detail. I mean, the animation in this film is just incredible. It cannot be understated. What, was I not on gameplay for a while? No, I think we're back now. Okay. The animation cannot be understated just how incredible it was. And I kind of wish I'd gone to see it in the cinema, because it would have been really good to see just the incredible amount of detail. Let's go through another review here. We've got Kirsten Page Kirby of the Washington Post gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, praising the film's visuals, characters, and message, describing the story more complex than your standard fairy tale. Which I think is a pretty good description. The visuals, characters, the message, I mean, it's summarized all there. And the story, yeah, it's complex, and that's how it differs from you. It was definitely different to any other Disney film. I think that was one of its main strengths. And just comparing it to other Disney films, this did very well at being different and unique. And I think that was one of the film's main strengths, of standing out. Not only, I mean, Disney has definitely got this. I mean, you know, they've Moana was an exploration of Pacific Island culture, and this is a exploration of Colombian culture, and I think more broadly even Latin American culture. And I think it definitely explores a new territory that Disney's never really gone into before. And I think Lin-Manuel Miranda was the right person to do that. Should we do a comparison to other Disney films? I think, or at least recent Disney films. What are all the recent Disney films, and how does it compare to them? Let's make a list here. Let's do a little ranking list. I think might be good. So what are all the films? We have Moana, Encanto, Tangled, Frozen, Frozen 2. What are all the other recent ones? I guess we're counting Zootopia, Big Hero 6. Let's not count the live action ones. They're different and I do not like them. Are there any other newer ones? Oh, Raya and the Last Dragon. I haven't seen that actually. I should probably see that. But we won't include that because I haven't seen it. Okay. Let's make a list here. So we've got Frozen 2, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, I guess Encanto, did I note them all down? Big Hero 6, Encanto, Moana, and Tangled, right. So I'll put Moana down here, and Tangled up here. Oh, that's the wrong book. I cannot play the game. Okay. Tangled. And then we'll do a little separate column of how we're gonna rank them. Okay, this is interesting. I think we're gonna put... I mean, what is the best film out of these? I think... To be honest, actually, I think Encanto... Maybe it's just recency bias. But I do think Encanto beats them. I think it might be my favorite. Frozen, I like Frozen, but I think Encanto is a lot more interesting, and I would think I would sooner watch Encanto again than watch Frozen again. Again, there might be a bit of recency bias, but Encanto, a great film. Obviously, we've been talking about it for the past hour and a bit. But it's a great film. The visuals and that review by Kristen Page Kirby of the Washington Post about the visuals, characters, and message, and being more complex than your standard fairy tale. I think that review sums it up very well, and I think that is why. I think that's why it's a #1 spot out of these films. Should we go for the worst one out of these? All of these films are good, even Frozen 2. I quite like Frozen 2. I know it's quite a controversial film, but why is it on? Okay, hopefully we're on gameplay again now. Yeah, so Encanto, visuals, characters, message, all very good. Appreciate it a lot. I think it's very good. Then I think the worst film, I think I'm going to have to go with... I think I'm gonna have to go with Tangled. So what number? How many films are we reviewing here? 7. So this goes in number 7. Tangled was just a bit meh. I don't think it. I mean, it was the first, I believe, the first of this new Disney animation rollouts. I also haven't included Ralph Breaks. Whatever those films are called, because I haven't watched them, which is maybe a little bit shocking, because whatever. So I've included them, but Tangled was just a little bit meh. I don't think it was very. I mean, it was a standard Disney film. I think it did well at introducing the new Disney animation, but again, out of these films, I don't think it's very good. Then I think we've got to go for... I think it's between these two. Big Hero 6 and Zootopia. I think I will go with Zootopia. Zootopia was an interesting film in that I liked the whole politics thing, because there was a lot of that was all behind it, and it's interesting that the two screenwriters worked on Encanto and Zootopia, but I think Zootopia has to go to number 6 because it was just I might be just because we watched it over and over and over again. That was the default film to show you when a teacher was was didn't have any lessons. They just put on Zootopia, and we watched it so many times that it just became meh. So I think that has to go at number 6. And I would not watch this film again because I've seen it so many times. Then obviously I think we're gonna have to go for Big Hero 6 again. Good film, but I didn't really like the universe it was set in. I didn't like that whole superhero thing that was going on. I don't think it was particularly good. But I don't know. What am I to say? But yeah, I mean, I liked the story, but the universe I didn't really like. Then I think Frozen 2. Because... Oh, I don't know, actually. Yeah, no, I think the Frozen 2 story was quite convoluted, and I don't know how well executed the ending was, which I think kind of ruined it. But I loved how it continued on. I think it went in the right direction, but I don't think it was just quite well executed enough. Then I think we're gonna have to go Moana or Frozen. It's a tricky conundrum. I think... Oh, it's just tricky. I really like Moana. Frozen is just a little bit overrated. Just a teensy bit overrated. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do Frozen at number 3. Very good film, very popular when it came out, but just because it's kind of overrated, when I watched it properly for the first time, I don't think I was particularly impressed. I liked the story, hated Olaf, um, but yeah, I mean the story was pretty good and it was pretty unique. Again, like it definitely broke the mold like Encanto did, from other Disney films, which leaves Moana at number 2 because I think I just like Moana. I don't think it's even based that much on its merit, to be honest, but it's definitely in terms of favoriteness. I think I like it a lot, and Moana has that character development. I think it's very good, and it follows the structure of a classic Disney film, and yet it's different, and I think that's why I like it. So that's the Disney rankingness. That's it. Very good. Okay, let me just take a swig of water. Okay, so I guess we should read out a few more reviews because I've got quite a few here. And maybe get to work on the outside a bit more because we have not done very much. Let's see, a review from Tara Brady of the Irish Times stated that it always feels like a movie manufactured by a committee. Now that is an interesting point there, I think it might be true. Oh, that's pink. How am I going to use pink? Pink leaves. Okay, we'll just do leaves here. I'll have to do. I don't have a resource pack. Yeah. So a lot of that is why I do not like these Disney films are not my favorite films ever. Encanto's good because it's so different, but all of those films, all of them, feel like they are manufactured by committee, and I guess that's the case with a lot of films, sadly, but especially these ones. These seem to be all sort of analyzed and by a committee to make sure that they all have the most appeal, making sure that they'll do well. And every element has been picked apart. A lot of the creative energy has sort of been taken away. A lot of the magic has been taken away, in my opinion. And I get what Tara is saying in that, it always feels like manufactured. These are manufactured movies, definitely. But you know, I think Encanto definitely. I disagree with that statement to this film. I think it is a bit different. Uh, I think it is a bit more unique. The Guardian's Peter Bradshaw was more critical, writing that Encanto feels like it's aspiring to exactly that sort of bland, frictionless perfection that the film itself is solemnly preaching against, but said that there were a few good moments. So, bland, frictionless perfection that the film itself is solemnly preaching against. Okay, so, I understand, again, where he's coming from. Uh, uh, Again, that sort of carries on from the last review about the about the about the about the manufacturedness of the film. And you know, a lot of these films are all, you know, perfected and just analysed within an inch of their life by a committee before release, just to make sure they won't be controversial or anything like that. So there's not. Although Disney films are all about magic, I feel like a lot of the magic is lost. And I understand that review quite a lot, but I think at the end of the day, you just have to accept the film what it is. And I think this film is a good film, and I think it does. It conveys the magic pretty well. I don't really know what more to say than that, to be honest. Mark Kennedy of the Associated Press said, "It's only appropriate that Encanto, fueled by 8 original songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda, turns into that most special thing of all, a triumph in every category, art, songs, and heart." So that one's a bit more positive. Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, art, songs, and heart. Again, that's a good summary, similar to the one about characters. I can't remember what that one was about. Visuals, characters, messages, and complex story. Like that. That is another good summary. Art, songs, and heart. I mean, that sums it up pretty well, in my opinion. That relates to film critic Ben Travis. Called the film a story with a real heart, and as much and that opposes the whole manufactured view, and I think Encanto does have heart, um, in the way all the characters and how they interlock, and it does feel very, you feel very warm, and yeah, I think I agree with that review. John Serba of The Decider wrote, "Encanto is thoroughly enjoyable, witty and intelligent, robust in its multi-generational appeal." Uh, yeah, enjoyable, witty. Some of the jokes in the film. I don't know how good a lot of the comedy was. Um, but Yeah, but intelligent, yes, certainly, and multi-generational. Yeah, it's a family film, and it does really well, more than other Disney films in that, I think. We're gonna put in a few more leaves, I think, here. If we use a flower pot and a bamboo, I think we can do this. Uh, and IndieWire's Kristen Lopez found that it is beautiful but trite, while still acknowledging the film's stunning visuals. Yeah, again, that visual thing comes through, I think, in every single review. Like, the visuals are incredible. And the animation is crazy. Um, Trite, what does she mean by trite? I don't even know what that word means. I guess it's like fake? I don't know. Lacking originality or freshness. I don't think I think it's pretty original. As I've said before, I think this is a breakthrough. I think it's unique among Disney films. Um, and I think it's different in that respect. And finally, Aparita Bandari of the Globe and Mail wrote that Encanto is overwrought rather than enchanting. Overwrought. Again, I don't know exactly what that means. Overwrought. In a state of nervous excitement or anxiety. I disagree. I mean, yeah, it was very hyperfill. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the context of the word, but I disagree. I disagree. I think it was enchanting. I think it was unique. Let's just put in some sort of tree here. Perhaps in jungle wood, that could work. I think it's a palm tree just here. Oh no, not in that fence. And another one sort of right beside it. We'll just have this go up here. I think that's all the reviews I have, so I guess we'll just wrap up the stream now. I mean, I don't think I have anything more to say, to be honest, unfortunately. We'll just build these palm trees, although, to be honest, I haven't really built a palm tree like this before. We'll just go out like this, and then we'll wrap up the stream. If I may, tomorrow on my YouTube channel, Mammoth Myth, I will be releasing a video on the Kelpies, which was recorded during the summer, and unfortunately the sound quality is a little bit bad, but you can go and watch it over in the link on the Twitch page, or you can go and search up Mammoth Myth on YouTube. That's Mammoth Myth. Just a casual little plug. Let's see if we can finish this palm tree. That actually turned out okay, surprisingly. And I think there's a smaller one just here, which we'll do with a few. Go down like this. This has been really fun. I think I might do this again, possibly, because I think this has been pretty successful. I don't think we got a huge amount of viewers, but I think it was. And we've still got one viewer. Let's go. This is good. Hopefully that's not just me, and I've realized that I'm on standby again. I think that might be my some sort of shortcut. Well, I hope I haven't been just talking into the abyss. But I'm pretty proud of how this has gone. I think this has been good. So I think I will do this again with a different film. I think this will have to do though. I might finish up the build another time. But I'm pretty proud of that. So I think that finishes up the stream. Again, video coming up tomorrow on the Kelpies. If you're interested, go on to Mammoth Myth on YouTube. And other than that, I'm going to end the stream now. I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you sometime. Goodbye.